In today's economy, every single one of us as business leaders and nonprofit leaders is looking for that advantage that will help us get over the edge and into a healthy workplace culture. Find out in our next episode about the Flourishing Advantage, where we're going to unlock the secrets and the keys with Dr. Wayne Hammond to creating that flourishing advantage and healthy workplace culture. We'll see you there. Welcome to the Flourishing Workplace Podcast. Join today's leaders as we explore what it means to thrive at work, with purpose, safety, and strength at the core. Flourishing Workplace is changing the world by changing the workplace. Well, hey, everybody, welcome back to our next episode of the Flourishing Workplace Podcast. So excited to have Dr. Wayne Hammond, PhD, with us here today. And Dr. Wayne is a good friend. He's also a business partner and someone I have come to know and love. In our previous episode, Dr. Wayne began to introduce to us this concept of a tool that he's utilizing within organizations and teams called the Flourishing Advantage. And, I think that this is really important because I love anywhere you can use the word advantage. It's a competitive landscape out there. And so how can we as organizational leaders make sure that we give ourselves the competitive edge, the competitive advantage? So can you just remind us exactly what is the Flourishing Advantage and how does it work?
Yeah, well, I think... Flourishing Advantage, you're right. It's a term that I felt was important because everybody wants to be successful. But what is that added advantage that actually produces the results that you're looking for and creates sustainability and that you can replicate it no matter what your circumstances are? So it's not just a business model of practice. It's a way of thinking, a way of doing, and a way of relating to people in ways that creates this synergy of, hey, we're gonna be successful during the up times of our business or whatever. We're also going to be successful in learning during the down times, and we've got this culture where people are excited about coming to work. They want to put the extra effort into it. So a lot of organizations we work with actually, hey, we're just getting started. We're starting to grow. We need to create a framework that's going to take us to where we want to go. We have some organizations that are actually doing very well, but they want to go from good to great.
Right.
Because new opportunities could overwhelm them.
Yeah.
So it's more of a proactive, preventative model.
Yeah. And so if I was leading an organization, which I am, and I said, hey, I'd love to have you come on in and roll the Flourishing Advantage out, what would that look like in practice? What would I notice? What would my team see? What would that look like?
Well, it's definitely an invitation to rethink your roles in the organization.
Okay.
As staff, you're not just a staff person. You're part of a success team.
Right on.
And leaders, I think, are moving away from, hey, I need to control this group to get the outcome and results that we're looking for, as opposed to guiding, mentoring, and coaching this process forward. So I take a look at it as encouraging leaders to check in with their employees first. Do you actually have credibility with your employees? Have you earned trust?
Yeah.
Have you earned their respect as a starting point for talking about what change could look like and how you would invite them forward? Leaders oftentimes are taught some pretty amazing theories and concepts like that, but a lot of them have never really thought about the idea of what are my relational skills?
Right.
How do I even think about myself? Am I doing what I'm talking about and asking people to do? And if I'm asking people to do things, how am I doing that? How am I phrasing it? How am I, and what would I want somebody to say to me that I would respond to in a positive way? Or would I perceive it as a challenge? Or would I perceive I'm getting set up here? So I'm going to be a little cautious about what I do. So yeah, it's really inviting this idea of relationship. And even in research, we've just seen that if people don't feel like they have mentors, solid relationships, feel valued, that's actually 80% of the change factor.
Okay.
What they know is only 20%.
Wow.
So where do you think you should put your focus as an organization?
Yeah.
Because the knowledge part is easy to adapt into it. The relationship part is purposeful.
Yeah, I love that. And, it's interesting because, again, for the leader who might be tuning in or the team member who might be watching this, let's be honest, we're all different, right? Some people are more naturally driven connectors and relational people than others. And so for that person out there who feels like, well, this sounds exciting, but I'm not that guy. I don't have that charisma. I don't have that connectivity. I think that this puts into their hand a set of tools that allows them to connect where they don't have to be, I don't know, the next episode of Friends or something like that in order to make this happen, right? You can still be you, still do you, still operate in your role, but bring alongside of that this sense of mindset shift and culture shift. Right. Now, how would the Flourishing Advantage, one of the things I hear from leaders all the time, and I just finished a leadership training with a group of about 40 nonprofit leaders, and they were expressing to me how difficult it is to train leaders in this environment today. And so how would the Flourishing Advantage help build bench strength and, sort of that new crop of leaders within the organization?
Right. I think the first question I would say is, what does the person mean by developing leadership? Or is it more about developing influence? Because leaders can learn a lot of things, right? And there's a head knowledge. But do they know how to connect with people in such a way that they can create an influence of, I want you to be part of something successful. What would that look like? And so it's almost a bit of a nurturing model,
right?
And coaching model, as opposed to, I know the right way and you should follow. So I think it invites you to rethink what is leadership, because actually every person in your organization will be an influencer,
right?
Call it leadership, call it what you want.
Yeah.
But the traditional model of leadership is a bit challenging if you think in terms of, I'm going to train you, give you the right knowledge, and therefore you should perform.
Right.
That's going to be a challenge.
Right. Yeah. And it's I know traditionally, we've even said it, right? Garbage in, garbage out, and inputs lead to outputs. But at the end of the day, it's like you mentioned just a moment ago, the emphasis on the relational factors is critical. So so you're not just a psychologist, you're not just, teaching in universities, et cetera, but you're also an entrepreneur and a business owner. And so for those business owners out there, what have been some of the most significant challenges that you faced in building your business and sort of charting the path of your ship, so to speak?
Well, I think most businesses would say, hey, how do we retain staff? How do we, stop staff from, they're going to go to the next job opportunity because they get paid $5 more?
Right.
How do we, get staff to be more motivated to be productive? It's not wrong, because performance is important.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom line, at the end of the day, the organization has to survive.
Yeah.
By developing certain outcomes. So I think that in my own personal journey, and I've made lots of mistakes along the way, because one of the first things I really learned is, first of all, people don't want to be fixed.
Right.
They don't want to be told how messed up they are. And sometimes we do that by the way we talk about lack of performance, or how come you're not doing it this way, or whatever the case might be, as opposed to, maybe I'll just get back to a simple comment. You might have an important person in your life, and if you walk up to them and say, something, I don't like the way you did that yesterday, I don't like the way you think, and how do you think you're going to be treated?
Right.
Absolutely. I'll be doing penance for about 6 months.
Right.
But if you walk up to them and say, I really like your creativity. Hey, maybe they talk a lot in the meetings. I really like the way that you come up with some really interesting ideas that I would never have thought of before.
Right.
And I really want to learn, how can we capture some of this amazing ideas you have and align it with the goals that we're going towards?
Yeah.
So you're kind of guiding this, sometimes what is seen as maybe oppositional behavior or disruptive behavior or unfocused behavior, and you're just guiding it into a pathway that the person says, something, I'm part of something pretty amazing, and people who I have to be accountable to think I'm important and have to be part of this.
Right.
Well, when they wake up in the morning, they're going to think you're pretty good, and they're going to want to come to work. They're going to be highly motivated. And I think as a leader, what I have found is that when I stop trying to control the situation and just nurture it, it's amazing where it goes.
Yeah.
And things that, if we wouldn't have done that, we probably wouldn't be where we're at.
Right.
And it wasn't me. So to go back and people walk into the office in the morning, and for me to walk up to them and say, I'm so glad you're here today.
Right.
Just give them the thumbs up and walk away.
Right.
Yeah. You've just set the tone for the day.
Yeah. I love that. It's funny, right? Because as a leader, control feels so good until it doesn't.
Right.
Until it's kind of like the wheels are coming off and everything's falling apart. And now that control factor, which at one point gave you so much comfort, that sense of, I don't know if it's authority or that sense of, hey, I'm in control.
Right.
Now that is gone. And of course, now it's replaced with stress and anxiety and fear and all kinds of things that are really quite harmful. So somebody watching this podcast here today, tell us how they could get a hold of you if they want to learn more or just connect with you directly.
Yeah. So anyways, you can certainly come to my website, www.flourishingadvantage.com. And it gives you a bit of a flow of what we're offering to organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to ask more personal questions or just get a sense of what we do, Wayne at flourishinglife.com.
Okay, that's fantastic. So you get a bunch of random people asking what your favorite color Smartie is or what have you, then you'll know where it came from. But thanks so much, Dr. Wayne. You know, in our next episode, we want to continue to drill into this concept of workplace culture a bit. And I really want to kind of find the juice around challenges, right? Conflict, and how we potentially can build a healthy workplace culture through the challenges and even the conflict that sometimes emerges, you know, and that is a very important question. So please do make sure you join us. Dr. Wayne's going to be with us for another episode, and we will see you there. Thanks for tuning in to the Flourishing Workplace Podcast. Let's keep building spaces where people can thrive. Until next time, lead with purpose, and let's let our workplaces flourish. At Flourishing Workplace, we're changing the world by changing the workplace.